just see the volume.
Hi, good evening and welcome to Paranormal Verses, and I just want to thank everybody who's going to be joining us today. I'm not actually on, well I am on, but my face isn't on because I haven't been feeling too well, so I've brought along a special co-host tonight, Matthew Atkinson. Have I said it right this time, Matt?
You have, yeah. I think you did it right this time. Yes.
So he's going to be asking quite a bit of the questions tonight to the guests. So just want to thank Matt for coming along. And again,
also, Kell, I think we ought to point out, since he's on screen, he's the music behind the show.
Yeah, that's right. Matt done the music for the intro and the outro, so absolutely wonderful.
Thank you.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
Also, I have my wonderful co-host, Michael Koff, running things as usual. So we're going to introduce our amazing guest again, who came on last minute for it. The last guest couldn't make it, so we decided to ask Kathrine if she could come on instead. So I want to welcome Kathrine Sorilos. Is that right? Is that how you say it, Kathrine?
Sorilos.
So it's actually it's Sorilos, exactly.
Sorilos, right? Sorry.
Yes, Michael got it.
Yes, Michael, I'll have to get you to do it from now on.
Despite the fact that I'm Greek, it sounds very Italian.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
I get you.
Yeah.
So, anyway, thank you so much, Kathrine, for coming back on. We really do.
My pleasure.
And like I say, we were having a good chat the last time, but we didn't get to fit everything in. So we rearranged for December, was it? We've rearranged for? Or was it November?
For Christmas time.
Yeah, that's right. But we'll get you on this time as well. So we'll always have a good chat when you're here. So
nice. It's good to be on with you guys. I love spending time with you and talking. I mean, the hours just go boom like that. There's not enough hours in our chats.
Yeah. I was just pointing out to Michael before, we've had a little bit of a chat with you in the last week about an experience that happened at Matt's house.
Yes.
So Matt's going to talk to you a little bit about that later on the show, but for now I'll let the guys take it away.
Yep.
Michael? So how are things with you in Greece?
Well, despite the heat and the heat wave, and we're talking about, when was it, on our holiday, it showed on the dashboard of the car 49 degrees Celsius. I don't know what that is I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit, but it was 49, and I'm like, we are melting away.
Yeah, that is
so
hot.
yeah.
Trust
me,
it was
you
want to keep the Celsius.
We do, eh?
Because in Fahrenheit, where I'm living, is like usually 100 plus. So at least yours is 2 digits. Ours is 3.
If you interpret it, it must have been about 114, 115 Fahrenheit, or a bit more.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Apparently, we in Fahrenheit like to sound hotter than, everywhere else in the world.
Oh yeah, no, it's hot. It's hot, and we just and the fires are really bad here as well.
Oh really?
Yep. Okay, how much was it? 120. Thank you, honey. My husband just went Fahrenheit and 120. There you go.
Wow.
I was close.
That almost is. I think that's like
hot.
20 degrees away from burning human. I think.
Yep.
So
that's how hot it was. So yeah, and the fires, the burnt, as again every year, the burnt beautiful Greece, the islands, everything around. So.
Oh wow.
Yeah, well, they've got to do it. It's they've got to put those 5G things on there. So no, I'm not going to get into that. But yeah, that's what they're doing it for.
So they're burning all the vegetation to put up a 5G tower.
Yep, and the other, those things that I saw them in America, for the electricity,
Windmills?
not the wind, yeah, they're putting those on there too.
Oh, wind turbine.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Yep, those ones. And because a lot of the Greek, the islanders said, we don't want them. They actually burnt down the places and hotels and things like that. So it was done on purpose, especially
Wow.
in roads. Yep.
So learn your lesson well, Greece. Don't say anything to the government because you'll burn you out.
Exactly.
Wow, that's a democracy if I ever heard
I
one.
know. And apparently Greece is very, oh geez, I'm sweating with my glasses. Apparently Greece is very democratic. So
It was the birthplace of democracy.
exactly.
Was.
So not very democratic at the moment.
Yeah, that's why I was like, was the birthplace.
Yeah, exactly was. Oh my God. But that's it. Working and doing, paranormal shows. Like, being on as a guest. I've got well, if I can make it, and hopefully I can, I've been invited to be a guest speaker at the Paracon in the YMCA. Candy Slater is organizing the Paracon at the YMCA in Illinois. I think I sent you a photo of that, Michael.
You did.
Of the Paracon, and apparently it's Paraflix will be running it on its platform.
Nice.
Yeah. So Candy's trying to get me out there in October. So I don't know if I can be there physically. If not, I will do it online remotely.
Wow.
Yeah. And the other one, I'm also guest speaker for the women's retreat that's run by Paranormal Women's Retreat that's run by Jane Jacobs, and that is done in oh no, hang on. It's in March. I can't remember the date exactly. I think I sent you that too as well. Yeah, in March next year in 2024. So she's trying to get me wanting to, if I'm able to come out there as well in March, but if not, I will do it remotely. So I've got a few things.
Old Harriman Hospital.
That's the one, yeah.
Okay. Wow, it is March, but wow, they use purple on blue. That's really hard to read.
Yeah, and you can't see it. I've got it. If you go into the women's retreat, it's run by Jen Jacobs. She's running the whole thing. And good on her, because she's doing it for women that have been abused physically, mentally, and emotionally in their lives. And so all the money will be going to abused women, and children as well. And she's doing a man's retreat for that too. And also Candy Slater running the Paracon for the YMCA. She's organizing it all. The money's going to the YMCA, the historical site.
Cool.
Wow.
Yeah.
Last time we talked, you were either going to be starting or doing a show about missing people.
I did that.
Okay, so how'd that go?
That when I was doing that with I don't know if you've heard of him, Grizzly. Okay, he does cryptic stuff and things like that, and he does missing people's cases as well. But it was too late at nighttime, so I did quite a few shows on there doing missing people with other psychics as well. And it was fantastic because everybody was putting pieces into the puzzle. So we were saying same things, like the case, we were only sent a photo of the person missing or a name, nothing else. And through that photo, each one of us was getting the information, and everybody that was getting the information was getting the right information, because it all made sense at the end. When we would get together in a panel, we'll get together on a panel, and actually each one of us will talk about what we saw, what we felt, how we contacted the person that had passed away, how they contacted us. So I was doing that for a while, but it got to the point where it was really late. Like I would, the time difference would be like 4 o'clock in the morning, and I had to get up for work the next day, so it was a bit late. So I stopped doing that, and then I was on a couple of shows with Penny Shepherd and David Zublik in Rumble, I think it's called, if I can remember, the Awake Nation. So I would go there as a host for a couple of, for about a month, 2 months. But again, like I said, because I started working, I work at a morning job. So it was very hard for me to finish my day shift from my normal job and do, every day, be a host on the show, on the Wake Nation. So yeah, so that's what I've been doing.
Wow.
Just jumping on different, different shows, different things. So a bit of everything.
The last time me and you spoke, we're going to mention this. I think Matthew's got the story that he wants to tell about this, but something happened when me and Matt were on video chat last week. Matt, do you want to tell the story?
Do you want to go into that now? I mean, yeah, we can do if you like. I mean, basically, yeah, I was chatting to Kell. I think it was Friday actually last week. I was just sat in my kitchen having something to eat, and we were video calling on Messenger, and I saw somebody stood behind me with long blonde hair, somebody that I recognised from a long time ago, and had the goosebumps come up all over, goose pimples come up all over. I was about to say something to Kell, and she turned around and said to me, "Who's that just walked through from your kitchen through to the back office, office room where you live?" And I was like, "Okay, what did she look like? What colour hair did she have?" And Kell said, "Well, she's got blonde hair." And straight away I knew, because that was exactly what I saw. And yeah, and we know what it is, and who it was. And yeah, I mean, Kathrine actually helped me quite a lot with that. It was basically a spirit attachment that I've had for a very long time, a spiritual attachment. I want to say slightly negative, but I don't know, But anyway, I mean, Kathrine really did help immensely, I have to say, and picked up straight away on who it was and what had happened and all that kind of stuff. And I was just completely blown away, if I'm honest, Kathrine. It was amazing.
Thank you.
And we had to do a little sort of candle ritual. To sever the tie from what had happened. And well, I mean, I hope it worked. I mean, I felt,
did.
Yeah,
it did.
Yeah.
I can see it in your background. I can see it in your energy as well. You're free.
Oh, good.
Because as soon as we spoke, I did see that person, and you're free after so many years.
It's been a long time. It's been a very long time. Yeah.
But I'm
I mean,
glad.
yeah. Wow. Yeah. And yeah, it was amazing.
Yeah, Matt actually did say that after he did do the ritual, that house felt completely different as well. So
It did.
Yeah, I mean, me and Michael were telling Michael about it before, and me and Michael were like, yeah, and because Matt was like, it's his first time seeing an actual apparition, even though he's been part of the paranormal for many, many years. And it's his first apparition.
Set the record straight, Gal. You were talking. He said it was so bizarre, you'll never believe it.
Yeah.
I said, we're paranormal investigators. We'll believe it.
Yeah. Me and Michael's done it for that long. We're like, yeah. We've seen things like that. So, but for him, it was his first actual one. So it was a bit different for him this time.
Yeah,
because he was strongly connected with that spirit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It was like there were like, how do I explain it, bonded. It was becoming, if you would have left it a bit more, it would have become one body, one soul. And that's what that spirit wanted, till death do us apart.
Mm.
So, yeah. And so I'm glad and I could help in any way. And that it's like you're free and that person's free as well.
Yeah. Which is good, which is what we both want.
Exactly, because spirits, when they stay on for a while, after 3 months, they tend to start forgetting who they are, why they're there, why they trapped. And the only thing that repeats constantly, like a loophole, is their last event or whatever made them and drove them to do something or to die or whatever. In your case, yep. So it's like a loophole. So they go back to the last event, the last moments, and they get stuck in that time frame. So they don't get out of it. And the more they stay on, the more they tend to start forgetting who they are, what they are, why they're there. And they start getting angry because they're not getting any feedback back. They're not going forward, and they're not going, backwards either. Well, actually, they are going backwards. They're not going forward to where they're supposed to go. So they're in like constantly like living the what's that movie with
Groundhog Day? Is it Groundhog Day?
That's it. That's the one. Yeah. Waking up every day. That's what it is in spirits. Actually, that's how the spirits are when they're trapped in our dimension. So yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
It's very interesting. There was another thing that Kathrine helped me with a few months ago as well. So I just wanted to quickly, while I have the chance, just thank you for that as well.
My pleasure.
Yeah.
Anytime, guys. Anytime.
It turned out that a not so nice person had put something on us, and Kathrine helped us remove it, and I've been really good since then.
Good.
Everything's been fine. So,
well, let them try again. They won't get that far.
If anybody's watching, Kathrine is the real deal, guys. Definitely. Definitely.
Oh yeah.
100%.
Yep. When it comes to hurting people or I really like, for no apparent reason, like magic, and you know that magic is supposed to be used for good purposes.
Yeah,
that's my opinion.
Right.
There's a lot of people. There are a lot of people out there that use it to break up couples. There's death spells, sicknesses spells, and you know what? It will back hexes, curses, and mind you, it will backfire, and it will backfire, and it will backfire 3 times 3 times 3. And not only that, it will backfire not just to you, but to your children and your children's children. So if you're going to be doing magic, use it for a good purpose. Use it to help somebody. Use it to release. Use it to heal. Not to hurt.
Yeah, that's true.
So, yeah. So, of course, it's going to backfire.
Yeah. The last time we spoke also, we started getting into demonology. And I had mentioned about the Temple of Solomon. If you think that's obviously demonology and Solomon's connected.
Solomon, okay, King Solomon. King Solomon is, in a lot of religions, he's a saint. Okay. Also, he's Saint Solomon in many, many religions. Apparently, he was very, very close to God. And that the God and the angels gave him a ring where he was able to influence, I won't say possess, but influence spirits to do his bidding. Okay, so in the Lesser Book of Solomon, where he's wrote, it's like, how do I say it? The Lesser Book of Solomon and the Solomon's Keys and all the books that King Solomon has written, it's like getting a book of cooking recipes. That's what it is. That's what magic is. Recipes.
Right.
So he used these so-called recipes, or whatever God gave him, and so he was able to, that's how close he was to God and to the spirit. He was able to influence those spirits, the angels and the demons. Okay, so there's 72 demons, and each demon has got its opposite angel. So Michael has Lucifer, Gabriel has I think it says Morpheus, I can't remember. So each angel has its demon, and its demon has its angel. So don't forget the demons were angels as well before they fell.
Fallen angels.
Did they actually fall, or did they come down on purpose because God sent them down then? That's another story. Okay.
I'm with that page though.
Hey?
I said I'm on that page though. I don't think they fell.
No, they didn't.
You think they were sent down here?
Oh yes. They came down, and they came down as the watchers to watch the human beings. And then they fell in love with the human women, and then they came to make love with the human women. And that's how the Nephilims were born. The giants, the titans in Greek mythology, the giants in other mythologies, the Nephilims in the Hebrew belief. And with great strength. And don't forget that those angels taught the humans how to fight, how to make weapons, how to make magic. Everything we know, we were taught by them. So they like, that was what they were not supposed to do. That was the apparent sin. They were not supposed to come in contact with human women. They were not supposed to make love with human women. They were not supposed to bore children, to plant their seed. So King Solomon had the so he had the 72. He used to call upon, because each demon has got his own magical power, his own powers. He's got his own things that he can do. Like one is for to find one. Like, I'm just giving examples of a demon to find treasures. So what he'll do, he will trap the demon in a triangle, and then he will be in a circle with an angel, the opposite angel of that demon, so he can control the so he can have the protection of the angel that was the opposite of the demon, that was in the same level, but also to influence the demon to do his bidding. And then he would, apparently they say that he would, after the demon would do his bidding, he would hide them, he would trap them in a copper vessel. And there's your jinns.
Wow.
Your jinns
Right,
in the bottle.
Yeah.
And apparently they say he threw those all 72 copper vessels in the sea, and in the Black Sea or the Red Sea, I can't remember. And apparently they found them and opened them up, and that's how they were released again. And other people say that it's under the temple that Jesus destroyed, the Jerusalem temple that they're trying. That's King Solomon's temple. That's the one they're trying to rebuild again. Under that temple, you will find, they say that he buried those copper vessels, and also under the temple you will find Noah's not Noah's Ark, the thing with the what's it called, with the 10
Ark of the
Commandments.
Covenant.
The Ark of the
Yep.
Covenant. Yeah. Wow.
Yep. So he had all that under his temple.
Which was
Well-
where the Templars were.
Exactly.
So is that what the Templars were looking for?
Yes.
Cool.
Wow. Fascinating stuff.
So, and most of that stuff is at the Vatican.
Wow. You hear
And
so
which
many
we-
secrets about the Vatican, don't you?
Yeah.
Bits that they've
Yeah.
held on to. You know, not just sort of semi-religious stuff. We're talking about sort of extraterrestrial things as well. That
Exactly.
apparently the Vatican have got their hiding. So, yeah.
Oh yeah, they're hiding a lot of that stuff. And if you see in the sceptress that the Pope holds, you will see 2 snakes together.
Yeah, I've seen that one.
Okay, so the 2 snakes together represent the Kundalini, represent the man and the woman, represents medicine. It was the god Mercury or Hermes that had the sceptress with the sceptrum with the snakes, both snakes there. So it represents the male and the female, the yin and the yang, the balance, the total balance. So yeah. There's a
It
lot of
wasn't until the
secrets.
medical field got a hold of it.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly. So yeah, there's a lot of secrets down there. So in demonology, what to me are demons, if you were to ask me, that's based on Solomon, right? The 72, based on our Christianity. What the Hebrews believe, what the Muslims believe in the jinns. It's a bit of a different story, but very similar. And then, for instance, okay, I believe, me personally, Christianity demonized everything.
Yeah.
Because I'll get you the demon Phoenix. Okay. Now, Phoenix is a dragon that was believed in China. Christianity wanted to bring down Buddhism, wanted to destroy, like he tried to do. Sorry, I'm Greek Orthodox. Okay, I was born as a Greek Orthodox. I've been baptized, but we believed in the 12 gods. The Italians believed in their gods. Every country had their own religion. So Christianity came into all these countries and influenced them and burned down, broke down everybody's religions. They couldn't touch the Hindus, they couldn't touch the Buddhists, they couldn't touch things like that. So what did they do? They demonized everything. So the Chinese and the Greeks and the Italians, and the Egyptians had the bird called the phoenix. So the phoenix rise from its ashes, etc. So the Chinese still believe in that bird. So what did the Christians do? They made it into a demon, the demon phoenix.
Yeah, it seems to be their going theme. Anything they don't like or can't control, that's a demon.
Exactly. Everything's a demon. And guys, no, not everything's a demon. I mean, I've been to many paranormal investigations, and here in Greece and in the UK and America. And I've been to some places with, teens where they're like, oh, it's a demon. It's a demon. No, guys, not everything's a demon. If a demon comes, trust me, there will be nothing left from you. You won't even have a speck of your DNA left.
Wow.
Yeah, that's how strong those entities are. It's not something that they will play around with. The things that might come are lesser entities, non-human entities, parasites, minions, as I would call them, but not actual demons.
Yeah.
The energy of a demon, don't forget, before there were demons, before they were demonized, they were angels.
Mm.
So they have a lot of power inside them still. They still have God's power inside them.
Yeah. I mean, because
Wow.
look at Lucifer. Lucifer's name means light, and
Yes,
so
the
that's
bringer
like
of light.
that'd be like, why would a demon that's supposed to be dark be named bringer of light?
Mm.
Exactly. And apparently he's the bringer of light. And then Lucifer is associated with Venus. Venus is the first light that comes on. She's the bringer of light. In the Greek mythology, she's the bringer of light.
Wow.
So in Greek mythology, we got Venus or Aphrodite, right? She's
Right.
very sexual, very loving, sleeps
Bringer of
around with a lot of men, causes mischief, causes issues, causes wars. She does. She caused the Trojan War.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so there you go. There's your
Wow.
Lucifer.
And what's the
that's-
story behind? Sorry,
Well-
Cal, you carry on.
I was just going to say, and yeah, that's what I named my dog after, Venus.
There you go.
Yeah. I was just
Donna?
going to ask Kathrine, what's the story behind the whole Lilith and Samuel kind of thing with the demons?
Okay. Lilith was the first wife of Adam, and she wasn't made out of his side. She was actually made the same way that Adam was made, but they were conjoined together. So one soul, one body, two souls. So
Wow.
in a lot of places, in a lot of books, you will see Lilith and Adam joined together,
Right.
and they will have four legs, four hands, yep, and two heads. But apparently, Adam wanted to dominate Lilith, and Lilith didn't want to be dominated. It's like, why should you always be on top of me? Why can I be
Sure.
on top of you? So why can we? She didn't want to be on top of him. She just wanted to be equal.
Mm.
And apparently, this was God's way, that the man had to be on top of the woman and dominate the woman. So don't forget, if you read the Bible, there were apparently the Hebrew God, Yeshua, our God, as the Christians believe, he was a punisher. He's destroyed a lot of cities, a lot of continents. He's drowned over and over so many people over the centuries. So he's done the wars. How many people have been killed in the name of God and the name of Christ in the Crusades?
Yeah.
And I'm going to be burnt tonight. I can see it happening with this conversation. So yeah. So she didn't want it. So she cut herself free from Adam and bid him goodbye. And apparently, they said that's where there's a little gap missing. She left. Okay, and so she came in contact with the demons and had demon children, apparently.
Because I've heard she's supposed to be the baby stealer. She's supposed to come along and
She
steal
is.
the baby out of, the womb kind of thing, isn't she? Or
Yep,
something.
because apparently this is where it gets really funny, because Samael, which is Lucifer, apparently God sent him, I think God sent Samael to her to return. He sent two angels and she said, I'm not returning. And then she came in contact with demons, and she had demon children, and apparently those angels killed the demon children. And this is where it doesn't make sense at all, because there's a gap in the story. Apparently there were no humans. Okay, it was only Adam and Lilith.
Wow.
And then and then Eve came. So how come there were demons if there were no humans? Apparently, you know, the angels became demons when they came in contact with the humans and bore children. So there's something missing in the story.
I might be able to fill that in.
Go on.
Because there is like really, really rare texts that talk about the war in heaven, where the angels fought the angels because they were rebelling against what God was doing with everything, and it was before humans, because they said he was wanting to create special race, and they were like, no, we're the special race.
Yeah.
And so they rebelled, and then they were cast out. Lucifer led that rebellion, is what they said, and Michael was the lead for the angels. And so that's what I was always taught and heard, is why Lucifer is down in hell versus, you know,
Michael being up in heaven. Yep.
Is because he lost the war.
Yeah, that's what we know as well. That's what the story is in the Bible. But this is going way before that war. Because before that war, or actually after that war, don't forget Lot and his wife.
Right.
When Samael, Lucifer, was still Samael, he wasn't Lucifer, came down to earth and burnt what's it called? Sodom and Gomorrah. Okay, so there were humans then, and Samael apparently was not the devil yet. So see how the stories just don't match.
Right.
So there's missing,
missing
links. They're giving us missing links.
Well, and also, though, to be honest, the Bible is a bunch of stories that have been compiled in. It's not meant to be a record of history of each day, each chapter. The next chapter is the next day. It's somebody just put a bunch of stories together and made it fit the way they wanted it to fit for their narrative. So that may be too why the gaps, and it's like you're saying, Lucifer is doing this, but then he's this, but now he's doing this. It's like, wait a minute. I don't think they thought about the continuity of the story. They just were like, we want to get this point across. This fits it. Boom. Next point.
Exactly.
Boom.
How many times has the Bible been written and rewritten by human hand? And how many are missing? Even Mary Magdalene wrote part in the Bible, and it's gone.
Yeah.
Right.
And Judas, and so many people have written in the pieces, and not they're gone, but they've been ripped out.
Right.
So
Council of Nicaea was the last one that did it.
Yeah, there you go. So he didn't like it. So okay, let's rip this off. I don't like this. Let's take this off. Somebody rewrite the history, please.
Yeah.
The only history that hasn't been rewritten and is still the same is ancient history, or ancient mythology, if you like to call it.
Wow.
So yeah, that's what happened to I can't see what people are writing. Like I said, I'm blind. I'm still wearing my glasses, but I can't see what they're writing. But but that's what happened. Lilith went off. She's like, I don't want you to dominate me. So then Eve was made out of Adam's side. That's why men only have two lesser bones on the sides than what women do.
Oh yes, of course. Forgot about
that. Yeah, and then apparently they say that Lilith came back. Other people say it's Lucifer. Other people say that it's Lilith that influenced Eve to take a bite from the apple, which wasn't an apple, it was a pomegranate. And then you've got a pomegranate, okay, and then you've got, look at how the stories fall together. She was given a pomegranate with seeds, okay, and then who else was given a pomegranate to forget and go down to the underworld?
Persephone.
Exactly.
Mm.
There you
Mm.
go.
So
So
I'm going to pivot for a second because there's a comment that came in the room, in the chat
Mhm.
room,
Mm.
but I'm not quite so sure what they're talking about. It's so Samantha Baker is saying my life is short in this world. So we
I'm
don't
glad
know.
you picked up on that.
She asking for help, or is she just talking about something, in the chat room about what we're talking about?
if she can abbreviate, and maybe we can help her.
Mm.
And does she feel like her life is short in this world? Is it because she feels it that way? Or I'm sorry, I'm going to get into a little bit of is it like you want to end your life? Is it you're feeling like it's ending? Is it, what is it? So we can
Samantha,
help.
if you're still there, let us know.
Please.
Put in another
Yeah,
comment,
please.
Going on to talking about demons again, and you hear the whole story behind Satan. I've heard that there's supposed to be some kind of connection with Satan and the planet Saturn. Have you heard anything about that? Or, is there some kind of connection there? Or is it just a play on words?
I think it's a play on words because the real name of Saturn is Kronos.
Right, okay.
Which is time.
Yeah.
Which is time.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's who he is. That's who Kronos is, the time. Exactly. He's the god, he's a Titan. And who ate his children.
Right.
Devoured his children.
Isn't he the god, the father is Zeus?
Yes.
Yeah, I thought he was.
Yep, he devoured his children, and last child, which was Zeus, Rhea, his wife, put a stone and acted like it was a baby. Why? Because he was scared. Look at how this all falls in a circle. He was scared that Zeus, that his children will bring him down from his throne like he did to his father, Uranus, right?
Right.
Because Earth and Uranus came together. Earth and the sky, the father, sky, and Earth, the mother, came together and bore children.
Oh.
So they gave birth. Earth gave birth to the Titans.
Wow.
So one of the Titans was Rhea. What's it called?
Atlas.
Kronos. There were Atlas. There were many Titans, but Rhea and Kronos came together. Brother and sister came together and gave birth. She gave birth to children. Those are your gods, your 12 gods.
Right.
So when Kronos he wanted to bring down Uranus, the sky, his father, wanted to bring him down from his throne. So he apparently stabbed him, and blood fell on Earth, and then there were other monsters being born, etc., from the blood, the connection of Earth and the sky again. So what was Kronos scared of? His children bringing him down from his throne. Okay, so this is how it connects with what you just said about Satan and Saturn. Saturn is Kronos.
Okay.
So, what do they say in history, in mythology, not mythology, in the Bible, that Lucifer was the bad guy that was jealous of the human beings, and because God tried to, love the humans more than what he loved his children, the angels. Okay, so and Lucifer said to God, they're not on our level. Humans are not in our level. Okay, so Kronos ate his children. So he was scared of what he did to his dad. He was scared that his children would do the same thing. So that's where Saturn and Satan form something similar.
Right. So that's the connection. Okay.
So does that make sense?
It does. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I just realized, with Saturn being Kronos, it's one of the only planets with the rings around it that we talk about. And how do we measure nature? Through rings.
Exactly.
Trees, the age of trees.
And so it's like I just realized, I was like, that just dawned on me that Saturn has rings, and we gauge time through the number of rings.
Exactly.
Interesting.
Wow.
So while Bill was helping you out, he put down the 12 original Titans. The brothers were Oceanus, Soeus, Creus, Hyperion, Lepidus, and Kronos. And the sisters were Thea, Rhea, Themis. It's been so long since I've had to pronounce these.
Nemesis, is it?
Nemesis, I think, yeah.
Nemesis.
Nemesis, Phoebe, and Tithes.
I can't see that fast. Hang on, let me just read them a bit more. Hang on.
Thys.
Okay, so the brothers was Okeanos, Heos, Hius, Hyperonion, Iepetos, ο Κρόνος, η Θέα, Ρέα, Θέμης, Μνημοσύνη, Φίβη και Τέθης. That's in Greek.
That's the way to pronounce them, I think.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I liked her pronunciation better.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, it's beautiful to be able to combine all stories together and all histories and all mythology, and at the end of the day, you know what? They all have the same base, the same roots, and they all connect.
That's true.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it repeats itself, it seems, in cycles, because as that history repeated itself, our history as humanity is starting to repeat itself. You can see the patterns since the beginning of our inception of where we go to war, then we get a time of peace, we go to war, we get a time of peace, go to war. It's like a never-ending cycle.
Exactly.
Isn't it funny how so many wars are based around religion, then, if you look back on it?
It always is. I want to say thank you to Bill, who put down the Greek gods, the Greek titans, actually. Thank you. But that's true.
Yeah.
That's true. The
The
old
one,
wars
though,
are related.
Yeah, the Greek gods, though, I always thought it was funny, is Athena of wisdom, that she was a splitting headache of her father, and so he pulled her out of his head. And I'm like, wow, that's the most unique birth of a god that's ever been recorded. Is a
Okay, take it
boom.
Exactly. Take it a notch back. Okay, she was born out of his head, and Mercury or Hermes was born out of his calf. What does that tell you in medical history? Cloning.
Right.
So they were cloned. They took a piece of Zeus and apparently cloned. That's
Right.
cloning.
Yeah,
Right.
using his DNA to.
Exactly. And then
Very
again,
interesting.
look at Noah's Ark. It was massive. Do you think that all those animals, like every single animal, every single bird, every single fly, bee, fitted or could live peacefully for 40 days in a big boat without being eaten alive? So what was taken? Specimens of the DNA.
And what was interesting too is the story is there was always two of each, so you had the male and female,
Exactly.
so that you could bring it back.
Exactly.
That's true. Apparently, they marched 2 by 2, didn't they, into the
Always.
into the ark?
Always.
But yeah, I never put together, like, I always imagined like the lions were in one side and the food source, that they would eat were on the other side. But yeah, still, I mean, these animals can jump. They can, they're strong. They could break
Exactly.
wood. So yeah, how did they keep the peace on the boat?
Apparently, it was God's way of keeping the peace on the boat. That's what the Bible says. But animals are animals, and animals have animal instincts.
Which,
So,
that brings up another interesting point of like dragons, unicorns, the creatures that were said to exist but no longer exist. It's like, who was at the ark going, deciding which species will continue and which ones were deemed,
we'll
nope,
die.
not going to come, not bringing them back.
Yeah,
Mm.
exactly. Isn't it a bit funny, though?
I tell you what makes me wonder about all of that is that, we're led to believe that back in those days, the Ark was probably some giant, huge vessel that was built from wood. How do we know that mankind hasn't sort of lived before and progressed to a much further level than where we are now? And these arcs were like giant, almost like spacecraft, but designed to sort of be sea-bearing, vessels.
Exactly.
We've always got this picture in our heads, haven't we, that Noah's Ark was this huge boat made of wood, but who's to say it wasn't something else? And that civilization of mankind has died off. It was killed off, or something happened. A huge natural disaster wiped everything out, or possibly extraterrestrial forces wiped everything out, and we've started again. I've often wondered that kind of thing.
No. You're right, because we are the missing link. We are the missing link, because they say that whoever fell from the sky were angels because they were so bright. But were they angels or were they aliens?
Aliens,
and they
exactly.
Connected with the humans, and we are the missing link. We've got only a bit of that power left. And then again, if you look at mythology, Jason and the Argonauts, Argo, the boat was not a boat; it was a spaceship.
Right.
So yeah,
I'd even argue even the trying to think, the was it the Iliad or the Odyssey where they're traveling between the rock and the hard place, Cirrus, and
that's Iliada.
It's like every time I read that story, I'm like, there's no way a wooden vessel could sail through those treacherous waters and traverse cataclysm in the water or being smashed against the rocks. And so I started thinking of it in terms of, what if we took this and put it up? What would we see? Black hole versus, what do we call them? The asteroid belt or something, where there's rock or there's something that's going to suck you in and destroy you. I was like, man, they were traversing space.
Exactly. Are you talking about Scylla and Charybdis, the one with Odysseus that pulled him in like that? Or are you talking about the one with Jason and Argo where he threw the dove to go at, those rocks, the Hercules rocks in Gibraltar, where that's where he was going to go across to? Is that the one you're talking about, or Odysseus?
Odysseus, but it could be both.
Odysseus.
It could fit both, actually.
Because apparently that's where Atlantis is.
Yeah, I don't think
that would make
Atlantis
sense.
was ever on the planet.
You've heard different rumors about Atlantis, haven't you? Some people have said it used to be somewhere called High Brazil, which used to exist off the northern coast of Ireland somewhere, or the northwest coast of Ireland. I've heard stories that Antarctica, it used to be there before the poles shifted or something, and the Earth span round to a different axis, and it froze over. I've heard all sorts of different stories really about Atlantis, but certainly for me, the whole sort of Greek that sort of area, that part of the world does make sense to me.
It
Anyway.
does, because I mean Gibraltar's off Spain, and then apparently they say that it was off there close to where the rocks, the two rocks of Hercules connected off in Gibraltar in Spain, where you go across to Morocco, and then apparently they say when Atlantis sunk, part of Santorini immersed. The Greek island Santorini. That's what Plato says.
So I'm
So
going to
who
throw
knows?
another hypothesis out of that could
I love this
make
conversation.
sense is, so if you ever watch the series Stargate SG-1, they did one for Atlantis, where Atlantis was a floating city. And so it could move, and that's why everybody has all these locations saying this is where Atlantis is, because it may have been parked there. And so they wrote, hey, there's this land. And and when a ship takes off over water, what happens? The water rises up, so it would look like it's sinking.
Exactly.
And it goes somewhere else. It disappears. You think it's gone. And the force of that would push land up, hence Santorini rose. And also the water would be displaced because you no longer had this ship on the water. So it would cause the water levels to change as well. And so, I think we're really looking at a floating city that could leave orbit. And that's why we can't find it today. That's why we have all these ruins, because it's probably where it was parked.
Others say it was on a very large, I don't know if you guys have heard this, that the city was built on a large turtle. And your story makes sense, Michael, because apparently the turtle would move and the city would move together.
Right.
Yeah.
And Mother Earth is known as the turtle.
I've heard a story about this, and this ties in with the flat earth people out there as well, thinking that we exist on the back of a giant turtle or something. There's a huge dome over the top of us as well. I don't know if anybody else has heard that story before.
Yep, I've heard that too.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Oh, my God. Can you imagine if the earth is flat?
I would be questioning that, because as much as we've explored and as much as we're sailing around, how come nobody's ever fallen off?
Yeah, true. That's so true.
Because of the ice walls, Michael.
Ice walls. Kel says the ice walls, yeah.
Yeah, so are we going around in circles, or is the earth flat?
There's a lot of people out there that believe it is, still.
I know. It's like that thing that say who made it first, the chicken or the egg? Yeah. Who came first? So that's another mystery.
I'd say the Anunnaki came first. That's why there's both.
Exactly. Well, I believe that.
If the earth is flat, how do we get extraterrestrials, and where do they come from?
Space.
What if the world's flat and we've got a filament around it?
Firmament. Yeah.
Oh, the
firmament,
dome.
Sorry.
Well,
the dome. How are they going to go in?
Let me put it to you this way, Kel. These people can traverse space, time. I think they could figure out a way to go through a dome.
Exactly.
Yeah. Unless they're coming from inner space.
Or are there multiple flat worlds next to each other, laid out like a baking tray? For cakes, one there, one there, one there, one there, one there, and one there. Who knows?
It could be a giant Catan board game.
Exactly. There's comments coming up on the screen and I can't see them at all. So if I'm not answering, I'm sorry.
Wild Bill. Wild Bill.
He was saying, who says no one has fallen off? If they did, they wouldn't be able to tell anyone about it. But somebody would report them missing, Wild Bill. And,
well, people do go missing, but nobody knows where they're gone. So
exactly.
But so with the boats, where do all these ghost ships start coming in from? Because the crew's gone, yes, but the boat's still here. So what? The crew jumped off, and the ship just happened to catch a current back.
The Mary Celeste.
So
exactly. So,
Yeah,
ha-
I think until
so,
we get into space, we'll never truly know that.
No.
so let me
No.
put it this way. So is the drop-off point Bermuda Triangle where everything goes missing?
Could be.
Or the Alaska Triangle,
There
or
you go.
Bridgewater Triangle. I have actually come across 5 triangles on our planet.
So could that be a drop-off point?
You know,
Possibly.
I think it could be, because there is commonalities between all of them. Is like, especially Alaska and Bermuda, is there's underground bases there. They're using Stargate technologies there. And so, all of this has got to be generating some force that would
Exactly.
explain why
Hmm.
it always seems certain vessels and certain aircraft were targeted, in my opinion. It's like you always hear senators or military craft going missing. You rarely hear, oh yeah, Joe was up in his, little Cessna and he just vanished. It's like there's like one case in Bermuda about that. The rest are all really military. And so it's like, I find that a little suspicious in my mind. Of it can't be random, because how many people fly through there? Cruise ships sail through it and they're fine. But yet it's supposed to be where everybody disappears.
Yeah.
Wild Bill's right. Things that make you go,
Exactly.
Huh.
Oh, wow. Oh, this is a fantastic conversation. I love it.
Yeah.
So what else you got for us, Matt?
What else have I got for you? Oh, quite a few different sort of theories and ideas. I must say, Wild Bill touched on this just now as well, actually, about Admiral Byrd's trip to Middle Earth. You've got all the, I want to say, flat earthers out there, and you've got people that also believe in a hollow earth as well.
That's what I was going to say about hollow. That was my next one. Hollow Earth.
Hollow Earth. And people think that the hollow earth theory, there's an entrance to the hollow earth in Antarctica, in the side of a mountain in Antarctica. And there are people that have Google Earthed it and had a look. And I don't know how accurate Google Earth is going to be. They're only going to show us what they want to show us that are on there, that's on there. But I don't know. People think the entrance to inner Earth is in the side of a mountain in Antarctica. And you've heard stories as well that saying there's some extraterrestrial presence there as well. People have seen UFOs and all that kind of stuff. And there's stories of some futuristic alien base that's been down there for millions of years, apparently. I don't know. I mean, you hear all these different stories about it. To me, I think Middle Earth is probably a bit more. Hollow Earth is probably a bit more plausible to flat Earth now. And this is coming from somebody that, back in about 2015, when the whole flat Earth story broke on the internet, I actually got quite sucked into that. I was doing an IT job at the time, working nights. And when you're on your own doing a 12-hour night shift with not much going on, I was watching a lot of sort of YouTube videos. I probably shouldn't admit to this now, but I used to spend a lot of time just watching YouTube videos. And I really did get sucked into the whole flat Earth thing. At the time, if you'd have asked me back in about 2015, are you a flat earther? I probably would have put my hand up and said yes. Over the years now, I don't know. I'm not convinced. I'm possibly on the fence slightly about it all, but I don't know. To me now, I think it's more Hollow Earth is a lot more sort of plausible. But I know that you've got a big player in the whole flat Earth community on the show at some point, haven't you, Mark Sargent? So that'll be an interesting show in the future. So that'll certainly be one to watch, I think, and see what he has to say about it all. But yeah, it's interesting stuff.
And then again, don't forget with the Hollow Earth, when Hitler declared World War II and wanted to go and went through all the countries, his aim was Antarctica. So when he got to Antarctica, he was an occultist. Okay, so he was looking for different magical artifacts. Apparently he held the spear that the Roman soldier used to
Longinus.
yep. Okay. So yeah, I can remember the
Hmm.
word of it. And
Spear of Destiny, they call it.
the Spear of Destiny. Apparently Hitler had
Hmm.
that.
Wow.
So and he had other artifacts and magical artifacts. So he would go around the world to pick different magical artifacts. He came past Greece, and the reason why we had World War II with Germany was because Hitler respected Greece a lot, so he didn't want to harm Greece. But apparently, our Prime Minister said, "No, you can't come past." He didn't want to harm Greece; he just wanted to go past and end up in Antarctica, which he
Right.
did. But something stopped him in Antarctica; he couldn't go on. Apparently, a lot of his soldiers died. He got very sick, so something there stopped him moving forward.
Hmm.
A lot of people were saying that he was looking for the like you said, for the extraterrestrials. He was looking for
Hmm.
different things. He was looking for the meaning of life. There were many occult things that he was looking for. He was trying to make the white race. So there were many things.
Hmm. Hmm.
And
I've certainly heard stories about a Nazi sort of presence in Antarctica.
Exactly.
So
right.
yeah.
I mean, and when you look at stuff they found, like he had a bell that was famous that they made that's on in between pillars and it has chains to it, but the chains aren't holding it up. It's holding itself up. It's like the chains are there to keep it there. And it's like he had actually figured out anti-gravity,
Hmm.
Exactly.
I
and
was
he
just going
was
to say
the
that.
first to have jet power introduced into the war.
Hmm.
And all these things that was going on, it's like, yeah, these are, advancements. I get certain ones like tanks, you learn, hey, we got to build thicker armor. I
Hmm.
get those. But when all of a sudden you got jet power from a prop engine, I'm like, whoa, something happened here to give you that technology. And they were doing rockets further than anybody else, smaller. They could do any size, and they had the most precise navigation before radar. And it's like, wait a minute, who is helping these people?
The truth is out there. Yeah.
Hmm.
True. The true. And how many things we don't know, and how many things are missing. How many things have they hidden from us?
Hmm.
So we wouldn't
Yeah.
know. We are kept in the dark.
Yeah.
And I mean, the U.S., I mean, we like to, say, yeah, when we got involved in the war, the tide turned because we had this or that. But what we were really doing was funneling all of their science into our science. That was what Operation Paperclip was all about, was going in and getting their scientists so we could get the upper hand. And that's where we split the atom. I mean, how did we have the technology to split something we didn't even know existed and create fusion, hydrogen bombs, all in a matter of years? When how long did it take us to build dynamite? How long did it take? It's like, wait a minute, we're making too big a leaps in a small amount of time.
That's
Exactly.
true. And has
Exactly.
Roswell anything to do with Roswell, do you think, Michael?
Well, it depends on which Roswell you're talking about, because I
The
found out recently
1947
there
crash?
was 3 alien crashes. And they only try to say the one was weather balloon. It's like, that doesn't hold anymore. But yeah, there was 3 of them. I was surprised to hear, the locals are like, yeah, there was 3. I was like, wait, what? I've only heard of 1.
So
2
did
at
I.
the
I
most.
didn't know there were 3. Yeah, I didn't know there
Yeah.
were 3.
Well, where were the other 2 then?
They were still in Roswell. It's just the government the military got in there and swept it under the rug.
as always.
And
But there's
it
a
was
lot of people.
Wright Air Force Base, and I have a guest coming on that's going to be talking about. He went to Area 51 and 54. I've never heard of 54, so I'm interested to see what that's about. But
Definitely.
talking about Antarctica with the Google Earth, I've seen pictures of Antarctica to where you see the ice and everything. But then there's a big gray box. And Google Earth just is like, well, apparently we just can't get a reading there. I'm like,
no, they're hiding
getting
something.
reading of the whole planet.
Exactly.
You can read license plates, but yet you can't tell me what's underneath this gray black box and an ice field. Really?
Yeah. It's like we don't want to tell you.
Yeah.
Exactly. But I've never heard of Area 58.
But you don't need to know.
Exactly. But haven't you noticed that a lot of phenomena is in the sky with aliens and lights and spaceships, and everybody's seeing everything lately? And apparently the government has come out and said, hey, there's aliens. Oh, really?
Yeah.
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 Yep.
See, the thing you'll love about American media is we're really great at saying, hey, look, we are going through something in our legal system we don't want you to know about. So what can we put out? And all of a sudden it's like, oh, alien,
Exactly.
conference. Everyone's like, oh, wait, we got aliens? Meanwhile, over here, it's like, yeah, so-and-so did this crime and this crime. Nobody cares because all of a sudden everyone's focused on the Senate hearings about the UFO disclosure.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think we all expected that to happen anyway at some point.
Yes.
Well, and the question is, what are they really disclosing? Are they disclosing stuff we already know, or are they actually going to disclose something unknown that's like, wait, whoa, you're saying what?
Yeah,
Well,
it's stuff that we already know. I mean, obviously, but the stuff that they're disclosing now, it's like we're like sitting back saying, no shit, Sherlock type of thing. So,
exactly.
Yeah.
But they do tend to backtrack sometimes, don't they? They come out, they drip feed us all this information, and then something will come out and they'll be like, oh no, we made a mistake. It wasn't this, it was actually this.
Exactly.
It's like the Tic Tac thing that's been in the news for the last sort of few years, which happened in the early 2000s. That's only just come out in the last 2 or 3 years. Is it David Fraser or something, the pilot or something of the aircraft that spotted it? I mean, they are drip feeding us the information, but.
So I have a couple of friends that I've met and talked with through the secret space program, and they're like, I will tell you right now, if you see a triangle in space, in this, in the air, that's ours. We built that. But if it's any other shape, then you got an extraterrestrial. And so it really points out to me the fact of, well, triangles are a lot of the UFO cases that are revealed and disclosed and making everybody think, oh my gosh, they're coming to do this or that. And it's like, man, they are doing it again, pulling the biggest wool over our eyes of saying, these are our craft. And I know I'm probably going to get in trouble for saying this because his name tends to get a lot of people in trouble, but Trump creates the Space Force.
Yeah.
And it's like, and before the papers are even signed, we have designs of ships. What branch of military already has hardware designed and manufactured before it exists?
Exactly.
That's like saying, here's a battleship. Oh, why don't you go create a navy? It's like, wait a minute. So I think that was the one piece of true disclosure that we had is, yes, we do have forces in space. He made it aware to the people.
Yes,
and
he did.
the people just like blitzed over it going, oh, he's crazy to have a space force. We don't need a space force. It's like,
There's so much that we
Fair.
don't know about, you know.
Exactly.
We're led to believe that they're still going up to the space station, and that's as far as we've got, just putting astronauts on the space station and, you know, the odd
Yeah.
rocket up into space now. But it's not. I mean, you know, you hear all these stories about the secret space program, and it's a smokescreen. They're trying to make us believe that we're only this far advanced in getting people into space, but yet in reality, the technology is 1,000 years, 500,000 years more advanced than what we're led to believe.
Yeah, I
Right.
heard that. Yeah.
and like Wild Bill was saying about the flip phones. I mean, everybody says, oh, that's Star Trek.
Hmm.
Well, where did Star Trek get it from?
Mm.
It's like,
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
I believe as humans, well, if you want to say that the angels came in contact with us and interacted our DNA with their DNA, was it the Anunnaki? Was it aliens? You know, see, angels, Anunnaki, aliens, A, you know, everything's got an A around it, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
So, yeah, okay, we are the missing link. There's parts and pieces of their DNA in our DNA, but there were smarter people out there that pulled the wool over our eyes and over our ears so we can forget about those powers, because we have those powers in us. We can do things, we can manipulate, we can manifest, we can do teleportation, we can do telekinesis, we can do, and people used to do that in the ancient times, in the ancient years. And now we don't do anything. Why? Because they are putting us to sleep with watching things on TV, with reading, you know, going on the internet or reading things, and technology is not, they're not allowing us to be able to enhance and how do I say it? Not only enhance, but able to reprogram our DNA to its original how it used to be.
right. Because I actually read a science report that said we are not a double helix system, that there's actually more than one double helix in our DNA code.
Exactly.
But it's the 5% that we know about. And they said, well, the other 95% is junk DNA. I was like, junk DNA? Why is our body full of junk DNA?
Yeah.
It's like, wait a minute. If we're using 5, maybe 10% of our DNA, why do we have the other percentage there? It should be, if that's our DNA, 100%. That's it.
I've got an interesting question. It's like what they say about the human brain. You know, apparently we only use a very small percentage of the human brain. 5%. There you go. That says it all.
There you go.
What does the remaining 95% there for?
I think if we use the 95% of our brain, we'll end up like, have you all seen the movie Lucy?
Yes.
Yep.
Good film.
Yeah. That's the one. That's how we're going to be.
The other one I liked was
energy.
Yeah. The other movie I liked was Limitless.
Yeah, that's
where
pretty
he
good.
took the pill and he was like able to like sit there and calculate out everything in like a matter of a second. And it's like making all this money, and he's like, I don't have to do anything.
Johnny Mnemonic as well. Do you remember that one with Keanu Reeves? That's going back a while, but yeah.
Could you imagine if you could take a drug and it did open up, like obviously the rest of the percentage of your brain? That would be immense.
Oh wow, yeah. I mean, look at this way. There's a lot of monks up in Tibet, and it's been heard that the monks here in Athos, Mount Athos, and the monks in Tibet, they are actually able to break down their atoms and walk through walls and doors and be in one place and then reappear in another place, like a hologram. So what does that tell you? That all they do all day is, well, pray, okay, and eat They don't eat like the food that we eat that is processed. So their DNA starts cleaning out.
Mm.
Yeah.
So they're able to,
Not only that, but taking it a step further is they're able to sit there and say, okay, I'm ready to ascend now, and just do it.
exactly.
And they will just vanish.
Yep, in thin air. Because energy never dies.
Yeah, I'm going to go with this comment that Wild Bill said that you can do it with acid and mushrooms. Now that I did watch a Joe Rogan podcast a while ago where they were talking about these
Ayahuasca.
mushrooms.
Yeah,
Yeah.
ayahuasca. Yeah.
I will
DMT.
say, and I will say it live, and I don't care. I have had ayahuasca.
Wow.
Ooh, tell.
Wow.
Please
Tell.
Was it in,
Yeah.
in South
Yeah.
America?
I'm like,
Proper
did-
South
No,
America.
actually, it was brought to me in Scotland.
Oh, right. Wow.
They actually were able to put
Mm.
it through customs and act and said that it was their tea.
Hmm.
So,
Wow.
so I had there was a bottle of 100 milligrams. So my husband drank half of it, and because he's a big boy, it didn't affect him.
Oh, right. Didn't make him sick.
And
He
he-
didn't go through the purge or whatever they call it.
No, nothing. He was just, everything became more vivid.
Hmm.
So, and because I'm more smaller, shorter, he goes, you're not going to drink, you're only going to drink half a bottle. So I had half a bottle, guys, and it was the most amazing 6-hour trip I've ever had in my life.
Wow. Wow.
I went through the whole process of my downer and my upper and being sick and vomiting, pardon my French. And actually the most incredible thing that I would remember that I loved is when I started seeing different shapes and sizes. And then when I walked out, this is Scotland, middle of December, January, where it was actually snowing and there was snow outside. And this is me walking outside with a short sleeve and barefooted, and it's snow outside, and the trees, the leaves had become, they were like the color, the aura of the color was purple, and the earth was breathing. It was actually breathing. You could see the earth going up and down, up and down. The trees were breathing. It was like seeing the real nature. To me, this is how nature is. And
like you were unplugged from the Matrix.
yeah. So I walked out there and walking into the snow and barefooted, and my poor husband's like, "You're going to get cold. Leave me alone."
Yeah.
Leave me alone. I believe that if he wasn't so worried, I would have seen other things as well. I would have came in touch with other things in nature. So yeah, if you were to ask me, yes, I would do it again.
So I actually have a question for you about that. How long does the effects linger, and can you still access some of what you were experiencing?
Oh yeah, I remember everything.
Oh,
I
I mean,
remember
like
everything.
seeing the trees like you did. Is there moments where you can settle yourself and see that again?
Yes, you do open up. You start seeing things differently from what they used to be before that. So it does open up another little portal, another doorway in your mind, in your DNA, in your body. It does. It awakens.
Well, they call it the spirit molecule, don't they? The whole sort of
It is.
DMT, ayahuasca thing.
Exactly.
DMT, I think, is the initials that give to it.
Mm.
So if I could do it again, oh yeah, I would do it again.
Mm.
It was the most incredible journey, 6-hour journey of my life. And I don't think I would ever get that through meditation. Actually, I can do it with meditation, but it does need a little, not as fantastic as that.
Mm.
But you can actually, if you put yourself and do meditation, you can actually get that through meditation as well. And there's many herbs out there that can actually not hallucinate, but can put you in a trance mode. Like if there's Angelica root, mugwort, they can give you lucid dreaming and put you into a small trance like that. So there are actual herbs out there that can do that.
Wow.
Pretty impressive. I mean, myself and Matt were talking a while ago about trying the DMT thing, but we're too scared.
Oh, come on.
I know. Well, you know,
listen, it is natural. It is from nature. It's not something, it's not a chemical. You're not using LSD, which is man-made, right? We're talking about ayahuasca or magic mushrooms. It is what nature gives you.
We'd like to do ayahuasca. Nature. I must admit, we talked about ayahuasca, but DMT, buying it off the street, if you like. I mean, is it the proper stuff? That's what we're worried about. I mean, we'd love to go to South America and try the real thing, you know, the bark of the tree or whatever it is, and they mix it up into like a tea type thing, don't they? And all that kind of stuff.
No, it's fantastic. It is fantastic. It's unbelievable. Put it this way, I've done my shaman trip as well, and I am on the first level as a shaman at the moment. So when I did that, now it makes sense. Or you know what levels I went through, it all makes sense. So yeah, if you were to ask me, if you're going to try something, try what nature gives you.
Yeah.
Not anything that's not nature made.
Exactly.
So yeah, ayahuasca, and always have somebody with you. I'm talking as a shaman right now. Always have somebody with you that can guide you. Don't do it alone. Like for instance, if you're going to try an ayahuasca trip with Kelly, don't do it at the same time.
Oh, come on. It'd be more fun to watch them. Put them on a webcam and just...
Michael, you can come too if you like.
Yeah. At least have somebody. See, with all my meditations that I've done in my life, I was able to guide myself and don't lose myself in my ayahuasca journey, because I have done all these meditations in my life. I've come in touch with my higher self, etc. So I was able to guide myself on my own, because no one else was able to. I only had my husband there so he can look after me, but in case something happened, which nothing happened, because I was able to guide myself through the meditation and through the journey. So if you're going to do something like that and you want to experience together, you experience it with a shaman, somebody that knows, someone that can guide you through it, someone that can give you guide you through a meditation. Like if you guys if you go to South America, it is. Or if there's a lot of retreats that do it in Ireland as well.
Oh, right. What, the real thing, proper ayahuasca?
Yep. In
That's
Ireland.
What we want to try, really.
In Ireland. I found it in Ireland, and they take you actually to the forests in Ireland, and I think they do it in some retreats in the UK as well. Let me search it up and I'll tell you. But there's actually shamans that take you through that trip, and you're able to cleanse everything inside out.
Interesting.
So yeah, is it worth it? Yeah, it is. It's a journey of a lifetime.
Yeah.
Well, guys, I'd like to keep talking, but we're hitting the 1.5 hour mark.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
see how much we're having fun.
Yeah, I know. So this will make for a great Christmas episode to continue.
It is.
Can't wait. So anyway, I want to thank Kathrine again for stepping in, and this has been a really interesting conversation yet again. I also want to thank Matt for stepping in for me and his questions for a first time being on the podcast have been amazing. And thank you again to Michael for just being a co-host.
Wow. Way to sell that point.
You know what I mean, for just being you.
Oh, I know.
There you go.
It was just funny how you're like, this, and then there's Michael who does this.
Yeah. Amazing as usual. But anyway, so like I say, we've been a half an hour over the time, so we're going to have to say goodnight and thank everybody who's commented and yeah, it was very interesting night tonight, and I can't
It
wait to do it
was.
again.
Yep.
And Michael, when we're going to be back again?
Next week.
Next week. Right. Who
And
go?
Matt, do you know who's on next week? Did Kell tell you?
She did mention something actually, but I can't remember. I'm afraid, Michael. I didn't write it down.
It's Daryl Evans.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Daryl Evans. So we shall be back next week at the same time as usual. And we just want to, again, thank everybody for coming in and just stay safe. And I'll let Michael close up the show.
Thank you, Kell.
Oh, yeah. Forgot that part. I got caught up in the show. I forgot, that we have an outro. All right, here we go. Thank you for joining us at Paranormal Versus. Hope to see you on our next episode.